Good morning everyone. In this video lecture we're going to work on a program using nested loops, and we're going to display a pattern of triangles, so it will look something like this. Okay, we'll use the same concept of rows and columns, but in this case it is a little bit different. As you can see, we have 4 rows and 7 columns, and in each row there are stars, but there are also spaces. Okay, and if I show you, if I display this one in a table form, in a rows and columns form, you will see first row has 1, 2, 3 spaces and 1 star. Second row has 2 spaces and 2 stars. Third row has 3 stars and 1 space. Fourth row has 4 stars and no space. Obviously, I'm talking about the spaces in the beginning when stars start to show up in the row, because after the row ends there are infinite spaces, in the row. So I'm not counting these ones, right, when the row actually ends. And this program can be written using if-else if-else conditions. So you just need to calculate when there is space. For example, when in this case, for this one, okay, this is I equals to 1, right? So when I equals to 1, because this I represents rows. So when I equals to 1, you can calculate the position for j, where the star could be 1, 2, 3 and 4. So fourth position has star, and 1, 2, 3 has spaces. So you can come up with a condition like that. You need to calculate when I equals to 1 and j is 1, 2, 3, there will be space, and when I equals to 1 and j is 4, there should be star, something like that. So that's one way of doing it. Other way could be using 2 nested loops. And since we already worked with 2 nested loops in the last video lecture, I'm going to use 2 inner loops here. And I'm going to call these loops I and j. Also, I wanted to show you how you can actually come up with this tabular form. So let's say you have this pattern of a triangle. What you can do is always start with the last row. So you just need to put 4 stars with this calculated distance in between, and then start up. So it's a bottom up approach that I used. So I just put 4 stars here, and then in the last row between these 2 stars there is space, and then I'm going to put these 3 stars, and then in this row in these stars there is space, and I'm going to put these 2 stars, and then these 2 stars have space, so there will be just 1 star. So this completes your triangle pattern of stars. And let's see now how we can actually come up with the program for this particular thing. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows here, and the outer loop is going to be the same. So I'll have loop ranging from 0 to 4. So 0, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, this is for rows. Now I need 2 loops, j and k. Why? Because we are dealing with spaces here as well as stars, and so I'm going to take 1 loop for spaces and 1 for stars, and I'm going to take the first loop j loop for spaces and second loop k loop for stars, and these both are going to be inner loops, right? Okay, so let's see how, first of all, let's see how these spaces are related to rows first. Well, for first row, so this is your first row, and in this row we have 3 spaces, right? And for a second row we have 2 spaces, for third row 1 space, and for the last fourth row we have 0 space. What that means is, since we have 4 rows, this one has spaces 4 minus 1, this has 4 minus 2, 4 minus 3, and 4 minus 4. So for spaces, can I write for j in a range for j in range 0, and first has 4 minus 3, first has 4 minus 1, 4 minus 2, 4 minus 3, 4 minus 4. So this 4 minus this number, the number that I write after minus is row number, and this row number is changing according to I. So I can write 4 minus I. Okay. All right. Let me increase this. Okay, so it will be 4 minus I. And what do I want for this inner loop? I want that space should be printed. This is space, this is not space, because by default it works as, yes, it works as new line character. So I'll have to write and equals to space, right? So this loop, this inner loop works for spaces. Now let's see how the stars can be printed. Okay. All right, so for stars, first row has 1 star, second row has how many stars? So first row has 1 star, second row has 2 stars, third has 3 stars. So okay, it's like every row has that number of stars only. So for this, can I write for k in range? How is it related to I now? So I is your row number. First row has 1 star. So can I write I here? Actually I can't, because I'm using I ranging from 0 to 4. So when I equals to 0 and k is also equal to 0, 0 to 0, 0 will be excluded. So I have to write I plus 1. So in this case, k ranges from 0 to 0 plus 1, 1. And that way we will not be worried about the exclusion of the last character. Okay, so 0 to I plus 1. And what do we want to be printed here? I want that a star should be printed, right? That's what we want. But okay, so this is fine for first row. It will print star. But for second row, after first star of second row, so this is the first star of second row. Okay, so after first star of second row, space gets printed. So we need space here, and then the second star of second row will be printed, and then here also after space we have 1 star, then space, then star. So all the stars have space, consecutive space, right? Okay, so we need space, and this is true for almost all the stars, even in the first row, right? So every star is accompanied with space. Okay, so what we can do is, once I provide this star, I'll say along with this, please provide space. Okay, because by default, the default behavior of print we studied in the last video lectures is to go to the next line. So we have to write like this. Alright, so this is the program. Now let us run this program and see what the result is. Okay, so for I in range 0 to 4, so this is 4 rows. Then I'm going to, for j in range, this is 4 spaces, and we're going to have it 4 minus I, and I want that space should be printed, so and equals to some space. Then for k in range 0 to I plus 1, because it is pretty much like that associated with number of rows, I'm going to print a star, and I also need space with that star. And the first loop, first iteration of I is over, and I would like to have space here. I would like to have new line character here, and I'll run this program. Okay, so here's the result. I hope you understood the behavior of 2 inner loops, and this is how you can print, you can display any pattern using nested loops. You can also try for if-else statement and see what happens. The only catch with programming is to just keep trying and debugging the errors and come up with the solutions of your own, because it's all about logic. I hope the lecture was informative for all of you, and if you liked the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share it with somebody who needs this program. I'll see you in the next video lecture. Thank you.